I'm going to be starting my Back to Basics series, which is basically going to be teaching you the basics to makeup. If you're just getting started with makeup, or if you're younger, or you just don't really know what you're doing and you have no idea where to get started, I'm just going to kind of go through my entire routine and explain more in depth of why I do what I do and the products that I love and the best products to use for your skin type at all, just because I feel like when I normally do tutorials, I will skip over like my foundation and stuff just to make it go quicker, and I'm more focused on the look instead of actually the techniques and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to be going over my application tips as well as my favorite products to use. So these are going to be broken up into face, eyes, and lips. The first video is going to be just foundation, primer, concealer, and powder, and then I will have a part 2 to the face products that are going to be bronzing and contouring and blush and then eyebrows, and then I will go into the eyes and the lips later. So let's go ahead and get started so this doesn't end up being too long. So this isn't an essential with makeup, but it definitely makes a huge difference, and if you want your foundation to last a lot longer, I recommend using a primer. And my favorite is the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base, and this one is great if you have dry skin, even if you have oily skin, because it really just makes a base underneath your foundation so it goes on smoothly, and it also fills in your pores. As you can see, this one is like a light pink cream texture, so you only need a little tiny bit of it, and you just spread it around the areas where your pores are larger. It just fills in any fine lines if you have mature skin, and then it just makes your foundation last a whole lot longer. Especially if you're going to be using a mineral foundation or a powder foundation, you have to use a primer with it, or else it's just not even going to stick to your face. So you just want to make sure that you have something underneath of it. Just makes a huge difference. So then you would want to use a foundation. The one that I am using is the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation, and this one's supposed to be a primer, a concealer, and a foundation in one. So this does hold up really well. You can use this without a primer if you want to. And to apply that, I just use my Sigma Flat Angled Kabuki. This is the F88, and this one's nice because it's super dense. It has that angle to it, and I can just stipple it in perfectly. Now when applying my foundation, I like to start in sections, so I don't just put it all over my whole face. You can dot it all over if you want, but I like to work in small sections. So I will start off right underneath my eye and then just drag the foundation down the side of my face, and then I will go back in and start stippling it. Stippling it is basically when you're pressing it into your skin and you're moving very quickly so you can get it on your face before it dries. You don't want to just rub it around in circular motions. That's just going to wipe it off. If you're using a mineral foundation or a powder one, you would want to buff it around in circles, but I really recommend this brush for applying liquid foundation or tinted moisturizers. I just really like the angle to it. It gets up underneath your eye really well. You can also use any other type of flat top kabuki or round kabuki like this one from Sedona Lace, but I don't recommend those flat foundation paddle looking brushes. Those just leave brush hairs and they leave streaks on your face. It just doesn't blend out right because it's just flat. So a lot of foundations, if you go to counters, they usually will give you those types of brushes. It's these original brushes that people used to use when applying foundation before the flat top kabukis and all came out, but I definitely don't recommend using this for foundation. It just makes it look streaky. So stick with the kabukis. Invest in at least one of these from either Sigma or Sedona Lace. I think Real Techniques also has some. You can get those brushes at Ulta. I'll have all that stuff listed on my blog, like alternatives if you want cheaper stuff. Now you can also use a tinted moisturizer if you don't need as much coverage and you might have skin problems. It's definitely a lot lighter and not as heavy on your face, so it's great for summer. I love the Clinique Moisture Surge Tinted Moisturizer. This one has SPF 15 in it. This one doesn't break me out at all. It's not too shiny. It just goes on really nice. It has really great coverage for a moisturizer. Then you can also use a mineral foundation. I really recommend using a mineral foundation if you have younger skin or if you're just suffering from acne, because it doesn't soak into your skin, so it's not going to clog your pores or anything, which I don't have a problem with either one of these breaking my face out, but I love this mineral foundation. It is pricey, but it lasts a long time. You don't need a lot of it, and I got mine in the shade Taylor. This is from advancedmineralsmakeup.com. I'll have that stuff listed down below. But it just gives your skin the most beautiful finish. It's very, has very good coverage, fills in your pores nicely, and just looks really pretty on the skin. Then you can also just use a powder foundation. This is my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. This is what I also use to set my foundation, and it just has really good coverage. I use this by itself when I just want a little bit of coverage just to even out my skin tone, but not really cake on a lot of makeup. If you have a lot of acne and stuff, this isn't going to cover it very well, especially without concealer. So if you just want to have an all-over powder, I love this. So then for concealers, there are several different types of concealers. You either have them where they come in a pot like these, or you have like a stick concealer, or also a liquid concealer. I don't really prefer liquid concealers. I feel like they're not as good coverage. I have heard that the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, that's a liquid one with a pump, is awesome. I really want to pick that up and try it out, but I haven't gotten the chance yet because I've been trying to finish up my MAC Studio Finish. But for underneath of my eyes, I love using this CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless Concealer. And concealer makes a huge difference. If you don't want to use foundation or any of that stuff, I would definitely recommend at least using a concealer. So basically what I do is I take you can use your finger for this, but I really like using this Sedona Lace EB13 brush. And it's a synthetic hair like on the top of it. It's got the white hairs on the top. It's a blending brush, but it's also very dense. So this works perfect. Synthetic brushes is what you want to use with cream products. But this has like moisture ribbons in it. So it's very hydrating. It's really good coverage as well. So you just kind of swirl it around. You can use your finger, but I recommend using a brush because it airbrushes it on and it looks a lot better. And you end up not getting like those annoying concealer crease lines, like where the concealer will settle into your fine lines. This just blends it all out to where you don't have a lot of excess concealer and you only need a little bit of this stuff. So I just dab this on underneath my eyes while looking up, and then I can pat it into with my fingers if I want to absorb more of the excess. I also take this onto my lid as well just to cover up any veins or any discoloration on my lid. If you don't want to use an eye primer for your eyeshadow, then I would recommend using some type of concealer just to have something for it to stick to. You don't have to use a separate under eye concealer as a face concealer, but this one I do not recommend using on your face. I feel like it breaks me out and I would just rather only use this underneath my eyes. Plus it has some moisturizing stuff in it, so it's very creamy. You don't want to use something that's very creamy and hydrating on a blemish on your face. So then for face concealer, I love the MAC Studio Finish one. This one comes in a pot and it's a much drier cream, so it can still blend out really well, but it's not super oily feeling. So, well, the other one's not oily either, but this one is just great for blemishes. And for applying that, I like using the Sigma Precision Round P82, which is a round kabuki, but it's a very small one, so it's a miniature version. You just dab a little tiny bit in and you go around any blemishes. And I really like using this as well if I have like drier areas like around my nose, and it just will press it into the skin really nicely. You could use your finger, but I find that the warmth from your finger just kind of melts the concealer and makes it blend away. So if you have a bad breakout or something, definitely recommend using a brush. You could also use the other brush that I mentioned as well, or a blending brush. Even eyeshadow brushes work great for this, because they just stipple it into your skin and it doesn't just wipe it away. And I will do a whole nother video on how to properly cover a blemish if you want me to do that, because I found a lot of great tips that help make it less visible. So then you have to set your concealer and your foundation with a powder. I recommend doing this even if you have dry skin, because it's going to keep your foundation lasting longer, keeps it from looking too dewy. It's also not going to rub off as much. It's just going to last a whole lot longer. So like I said before, I like using my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. Again, you don't want to rub in circular motions. You're just going to wipe off your concealer and wipe off your foundation or whatever you have on, and it just works better if you just press it into your skin. If you have really bad acne or you have a spot that you want to cover up with powder as well, I would recommend using like the little sponge things. This powder actually comes with one of them, and it's just a little white sponge, and you will just dab it in and then press it over, and that will look a little bit too cakey if you use too much. You want to be careful with that. I only do it on areas if I have a blemish I'm trying to cover up, because it just provides more coverage and it just presses it into the skin, so you get a lot more product in one area as opposed to using a brush all over. You can use a powder foundation or even a mineral one over top of your foundation to add more coverage, or you can use a regular powder like the Rimmel Stay Matte Press Powder. This one keeps your face very matte, but you have to be careful with it. You don't want to use too much of it because it can make your face not look cakey, but almost a little too flat. But those are powders that I really like, and they make a huge difference. If you have drier skin though, you might want that dewy look, but it's just, I feel like if anything touches your face or your clothes, or you put your hand on your face, your foundation might just come off. So having a powder on top is essential, even with using a tinted moisturizer. I really like this combination, using the tinted moisturizer with the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. It just provides like the best coverage, but a very light and not heavy feeling on your face. Great for summertime. So you can use a powder to set your under eye concealer, but I like using a very finely milled translucent powder. This is the NYX HD Studio one, and this is a finishing powder. And for that, I just use a little eyeshadow brush like this. It's actually like a bigger eyeshadow brush. This just works really well underneath your eyes. It just blends out the powder nicely. It just presses it into your skin and keeps your mascara and your eyeliner and stuff from smudging. If you have oily lids, I definitely recommend taking either your powder or another like translucent powder around your eyes, because if your lids or under your eyes are a little bit oily, when your lashes touch it, it will smudge off and it will ruin your eye makeup. So I definitely recommend doing that. It will keep your concealer from creasing as well, so that's when you get like the settling into the creases underneath of your eyes. That just doesn't look good. So that just keeps that from happening, and it makes a huge difference. Or you can of course use your regular face powder. So that's it for this portion of this video. If you want to see how I contour or bronze my face, as well as highlighting and blush in my eyebrows, it's going to be in the part 2 of this video. So as soon as that video is up, I will have it linked for you on the bottom bar, as well as like a video response to this, so look for that down below. And I will have it linked everywhere here so you can check out the second portion of this video. So look forward to that very soon. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. You can always send me an email. My email is just glam-me-up8@gmail.com. You can also send me a Facebook message or a Twitter direct message. All that stuff will be linked down. So if you also want to see more tips and stuff how I apply foundation and my different foundation routines, I will have that playlist linked down below where you can see all my foundation routines. I have one using Bare Minerals foundation, as well as the Revlon Whipped one. That's a full coverage foundation routine. And I'm sure I have some others from before. So definitely check that out if you want to see more foundations, how they apply, and also my entire routines and stuff, how it's changed as far as concealer and powder and all. Don't forget to comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to y'all very soon.